we got go-karts. Oh, we got some kayaks too. But you probably already knew that. You were probably thinking, why spend the money on go-karts when they're still in El Camino to finish? But the thing is, for the money that I don't spend, I don't go out, I don't party, I don't drink, I don't go to clubs. So these, at the price we paid, was a pretty good deal. This one, I kind of call it DK. This one here, and this one right here, I picked them up locally. Now, this one right here, I referred to it as DK as in Donkey Kong, not Drift King. It's a chassis built out of 1 1/4 tubing compared to the black one, which is a 1-inch tubing. This one has a Honda 270 engine on it. It boots right along, it moves, and it's the biggest one. It actually fits me, bigger people. Well, I'm 6'2", 230, 240 pounds, give or take. I can fit in that one pretty good. You see what I mean? The difference in this one is not the larger frame, although it's built heavier and thicker. Just makes it a bit heavier, compensated by the 270cc engine. The real thing is the seat. It's 15 inches across. My tubby butt fits. This one, not so much. It's a junior seat, and it's only like, I think 13 inches across, or maybe not even 12, maybe something like that. Brain bucket in the way. This one's much lighter. Got a lighter chassis, lighter components. It's actually a little quicker on the top end, and it's a lot smoother than that one. And this one is a Honda GX200 engine. This is a Honda GX270, Honda GX200. The drive system on this one, as opposed to that big belt on the other one, and the clutch system, the gear system, gearbox, whatever. This is just a clutch that's right on the sprocket, centrifugal clutch or something like that. Once these things get going, they pick up a crazy amount of momentum. The other one has this big belt, which is both good and bad. It's super easy to maintain. It doesn't require oil or anything. You can see the little bump right there. That's when rocks get caught up and bounce up into this. Just to let you guys know, you could pick up one of these for around $1,000 Canadian, running, like ready to go. And they're not stupid fast, but they're a boatload of fun. So I found a deal on Marketplace. This one right here was much more complete when I picked it up, but I ended up using it for parts on the other cart. When I got them, they were missing the front spindles and front wheels, a few other little components. This one had an issue with the fuel pump. It was set up a bit different. So this brake pedal is no longer working because there's a nice little hydro brake that came with it. Dude was making a drift cart. The other cart, the one that's up on the stand, it had a better working engine. It just needed a little bit of work. I had to do a bit of aligning and setting stuff up and fixing a few things. That's just there to keep the extra crap out. Has some pretty wild axles, some pretty heavy duty stuff. I had to set up the brake disc. That was off-centered and the disc wasn't connected. And then here, the engine was actually turned a little bit sideways. So I guess whoever had it before was just kind of playing around with different formats and ideas, and they probably had it moved for a reason, but I needed to straighten that up to line up the chain better. But this one's running super good. Another GX200, good fuel pump, good fuel lines, crappy fuel tank, but it does work. The seat, much like the black one, I didn't fit in the stock seat. Fortunately, I got some spare parts with these. It was I cut it in half and learned how to do a bit of fiberglass work. Now it doesn't look that great. It's pretty bumpy and stuff. This is really just a test to see if I can make them big enough that I can fit in it. A side effect of a larger seat was I had to cut these and bend them and do a little work. My goofy ass ended up catching the grinder in a weird spot, breaking off the brake line, which means I had to put these on, which is off the other chassis that's on the wall. While doing that, I blew out the master cylinder. So I've got a solution for that. This whole thing nothing. All kinds of brake fluid in there. I checked it, made sure it came out the bleeders. So we'll get into fixing that in a little bit. So these are essentially carts meant for road course, the street, for asphalt, super smooth surfaces. The problem is the driveway is not big enough for that. We can play around a little bit, but definitely not race more than 2 carts together and try to make corners and make stuff flow enough that it's actually a fun course. And plus there's people coming in and out, so that's always potential danger. A lot of trees on that driveway. Short story long, we're running these on the third. Let's go check out the track. It's come a long way since we first started playing around out here, ripping around with the Honda Accord. Starting to look pretty legit right now. This is my dog. She's always with me. That's okay.
This setup you guys have probably seen being built and used in another video. But this one is the new one.
Been kind of using my truck as more of a tractor right now, and it's slowly dying. Until it's completely dead, I'm gonna use the most of it and take care of this tractor. Those new go-karts are really low, so what you see in front of you is really important. I did, however, get kind of lucky, can't lie. Most of the surface here is a mix of like sand, dirt, and a lot of clay. So that gives us a chance to really pack it down and make it really good and solid, which is ideal for dirt racing.
Now this little stretch right here
goes into the hairpin after the straight.
Is probably the roughest section. You can get an idea where we are on the track. That's the big long sweeping corner, connects two straights. But right here, it's hard to tell because of the leaves and the shades, but it's really rough.
The go-karts get through, but like just barely. It sucks. It's a rough ride. And the problem with that is super zero low ground clearance.
That's low. So, as you can see, these things run super low to the ground. Ooh, shaky. And I needed to find a solution. This one, being a little bit bigger, actually seems to have a bit more ground clearance, but not much more. So I might play with that one, just like I did with the one on the stand. And there is the solution. I actually have to redo this side, but this side worked out really well, and I'll show you what I did real quick. It all has to do with the knuckle. Now, if you look at this one, where that knuckle is mounted, or that pivot point, whatever you want to call it, mounted on the chassis, there's all this room up here. You see that? All that height. Now, if I could get that lower, it will raise the ground clearance that much, which is probably just enough to make it clear everything on the dirt track and keep the center of gravity nice and low so that it doesn't want to roll and it still handles really well. So what I did was an ugly ass job of chopping and welding on here. As you can see, I cut the knuckle, I dropped it way down as far as it could, and then put a little brace underneath and then welded it all back up. What I found out a little later, that the caster angle is very, very important on these. I made a bit of a mistake on that one right there. One side was like too level, too straight, so it didn't put any weight on it when he turned. So he don't turn. It doesn't turn left really good. So that's another thing I'm gonna have to zip zap fix on that thing real quick, but I just wanted to give you guys a super rundown and show you what's up. This cart here and the one over on the wall. Whoa. To finish off the story about those, I ended up getting a whole bunch of extra parts for those as well. Now this is the other motor for the one that's on the wall. Also a Honda GX 200. It's got that cool little clutch thingy on it. It's got a really nice exhaust. Nice air filter, nice hardware, really nice build. I believe the problem here is the fuel pump, not pumping fuel like it should. But with a new pump on there, probably off Amazon, it should rock and roll. This was thrown in the deal as well. It's a 13 horsepower OHV Power Fist engine. What do you want? Glad to see you're still around. Welcome back, new season. So anyways, Power Fist, 13 horsepower, should rock and roll because the biggest engine is the 270 that's over there, and that thing is pretty quick. So at 13 horsepower, this should be pretty wild. Plus, it's got electric start and all this fun stuff. Maybe we'll make some sort of really cool project with that and have a lot of fun. Maybe some sort of, I don't know, some sort of monstrosity, maybe a really big cart. Still got to figure something out with that, with the track and everything. That's probably going to come in handy. I got extra bumpers, panels, all kinds of stuff. Box full of goodies and parts, which have been most helpful, right? All this kind of extras. Boatload of tires. Street tires, and these are supposed to be rain tires, but I'm anxious to see how they work in the dirt. In all honesty, I really know nothing about these at all. Never played with them before, except for the last few weeks. But here we are. All I can tell is that some of them are built a little bit better, a little stronger, sometimes a little lighter. And in this case, Alcantara steering wheel, some nice parts, Allen key stuff, get his hardware. Some of them are obviously higher quality than the other ones. Came with some goodies, but it's all good fun. One thing I do know is that these are a lot of fun to work on, and they're so simple. Playing around with them kind of feels like a vacation. Now, since the last videos that went up, I haven't filmed anything for a month, which is why there's no videos of picking these up, any kind of stuff like that. I think this is kind of what I was looking for.
Something that I could do with the guys, the homies, something to have a lot of fun with, something to play around with. Cost nothing. Nowadays it costs like, we're looking at, you know, $500 for a weekend at the track to $1,000 easily. Prices on everything's gone up, fuel's gone up, so the whole deal is so much more expensive. So to get that driving thrill, to have fun with the guys, this was my solution. In other news, the 8.6 is back. The truck is almost completely dead. It's got a big ABS problem like it had before, but just recently the power steering went out and the engine light is flashing. I've been using it like a tractor. The Honda took a beating, but it's still going. It's got some new stickers. And there's plenty more to come with this, unless we turn it into like a dune buggy or something. And they updated my sim rig too. Ding ding. So what I'm saying here is the karts provide an outlet to get that driving feeling. It's a good training tool to understand race lines and G-force, something the driving simulator doesn't offer. Seems like a good learn how to drive combination. Karts also provide some sort of fabrication, playing around. It's so simple. We'll get into fabrication as well as rebuilding motors, figuring out electrical systems, ignitions, and clutches, which undoubtedly transfers to a project like this. And more. And this bridges the gap between go-karts and rally cars. I guess what I'm saying is, welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
By the tranny on all high, by the cam and the U-joint glisten beady.